Hello, my name's Cathleen. At the end of at the end of February 2020, my daughter Maggie caught strep throat. The meds seemed to work quickly. Day 3, she complained her ankles were stiff. This was nothing new. The next day, Saturday, February 29th, we headed to New York City. She seemed fine getting on the train in Trenton, but an hour and a half later at Penn Station in New York, she was walking like a 90-year-old and said everything hurt. We taxied to our hotel, and she crawled into bed before noon, and we stopped the antibiotics. She was sweating and seemed to have a high fever. By midnight, I was concerned, and I called to find a car service that could take us home in the morning. COVID was in New York City, and it didn't seem safe to take her to an urgent care or a nearby hospital. Sunday, we made it home and went to our local CHOP urgent care. They provided us with a new antibiotic and said it was probably serum sickness. Not doing any better the next day, Monday, we took her to our local ER, and after fluids and labs, they sent her home because she had perked up. Wednesday, she seemed worse, and the hospital called, asking us to come back due to contaminated labs. Labs showed a blood infection, and we were transported by ambulance to CHOP, as she seemed to be getting physically worse before our eyes. A rash, high fever, and barely moving and in pain, she looked wilted. Over the next week, CHOP doctors worked to get the infection under control and worked their way through a barrage of testing. Finally, it came down to cancer or arthritis. Once diagnosed as JIA, it seemed a miracle that 6 hours after being given anakinra, she was able to walk to the cafeteria totally normal. After 17 days, she was released to home with monthly Alaris shots. At that moment, doctors thought a year of treatment was likely to bring on remission. We were not prepared for her JIA journey. August 2020, she had her first MAS flare, with her second over Thanksgiving. More steroids and more hospital time. In April 2021, she did 2 chemo treatments. No changes occurred other than some hair loss. Her doctor added tacrolimus, then switched to Jakafi. Both caused elevated kidney and liver labs. We started to talk about bone marrow transplant and completed genetic testing, including meetings with the BMT doctors. May 2021, she had another flare and was held captive to receive Gamifant treatments, as our insurance wasn't sure how to manage the drug and wouldn't allow outpatient treatment. 7 weeks later, she was home and feeling good. She was doing okay and continuing her monthly Alaris shots. We had canceled all of our summer plans. We were feeling good until January 2023. A year and a half later, she had had a flare. We felt defeated. More steroids, more unknown. We added Jakafi again, that again caused elevated labs. Then there was talk of MAS 825 treatment, and her doctors did the legwork to get her included, and she started treatment in October 2023. A year later, and Maggie is doing okay on biweekly infusions. She currently has been fighting a spinal infection since February, but colds do not become fevers, rashes, or flare-ups. It's been a stressful journey, giving ourselves grace for disregarding her joint pain, complaints when she was younger. In the first two and a half years, Maggie gained 160 pounds from steroids, meds, and her mental health struggles. Middle school is tough enough, then adding COVID and a misunderstood autoimmune disease, it's a disaster. High school's going well, but I still worry about her missing school and her general health. I worry about colleges and her disease limiting the places she can go. Even though I have work flexibility, I worry about my job and missing more work for more appointments. MAS 825 seems to be working well and doing its job, and for that I am grateful. The question that I grapple with is this infusion every other week from now until the end of time? Is this it? Is this what her life looks like? Thank you.